Hi guys, Mandy Calabono, sold by Mandy C, coming at you today with a deep dive into the current market for December. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's look ahead with some 2021 projections. I think we're all ready to get rid of 2021 and move into a new year and into a new life and just get past coronavirus and all these things. Jed Kolko, I'll start out here. He says this: above all, the 2021 lookout hinges on the course of the coronavirus. Both the recent virus surge and the election make government emergency relief more likely. He's talking about stimulus there, a stimulus package being more likely. Next year, it will also start to show whether two big pandemic shifts will endure, from services to goods and from in-office to remote work. Now let's hold that for just a second. I'm going to come back and talk about that. Even small shifts in these trends, if permanent, could cause big changes into how businesses hire, how job seekers search, and where people live and how much they earn. So a lot of questions. I certainly don't have a crystal ball to say what's going to happen with that and coronavirus. You're hearing as recently, early December here, that by mid-year, a majority of the population could be vaccinated soon. We're going to have to see how that plays out and how that happens across the country. But as people start to feel safe, as they feel more confident, they'll certainly, like he's talking about from in office, have to remote work. I think we started this pandemic off and people thought people are going to go back to work or they're going to work from home now. And there's probably some hybrid models in the middle once people get certainty to say, okay, we can live in a different place or we can make this decision relative to our housing. So a lot of this is going to depend on the path of the coronavirus and what we have going on now. Now, we're in a place right now where certainly cases are rising, but I think as we look forward, the thought that always comes to mind is it's always darkest before dawn. There's hope around the corner, and we're certainly looking to the future for that. If we look at projections for mortgage rates, Freddie Mac has come out with their projections through the fourth quarter of next year. And they're saying that we're going to stay around for 3% for a 30-year fixed mortgage. And whether we're at 2.7, 2.8, bouncing around there, look at the bigger picture here of where we were in 2016, 17, up to 19, and really where we are today. Definitely a favorable lending environment for those looking to purchase a home as compared to the past couple of years. This year we've gone through 14 lows in the average 30-year fixed as measured by Freddie Mac, and that's not this year, since they've been recording lows. So the next piece of information from Danielle Hale talking about, volumes of homes sold. She says we expect to see 2021 come in 7% above 2020 levels. Let me just pause there after that blue text. We're going to sell more homes this year than we did in the middle of a pandemic, and we're going to sell even more into 2021. Why? Because needs are changing. People are saying, with these low rates, we're going to go out and buy. There are a lot of people that say, we've held off in this listing of our home this year, selling of our home, because we felt unsafe for whatever reason. Putting our home on the market and seeing how people buy homes. She goes on to say, following a more normal seasonal trend in building momentum through the spring and sustaining the pace in the second half of the year. While home sales are expected to lose some momentum of the next months of 2020, a shallower than normal seasonal slowdown creates a higher base of activity leading into 2021 that is roughly maintained for the first half of the year. As vaccines for the coronavirus become broadly available to the public and economic growth reflects the resumption of a more normal pattern of consumer spending, home sales gain even more in the second half of the year. So the coronavirus, again, going to dictate what we see there. And the vaccine, as you know, is made available, and it's provided all those things. And look for, as we go into 2021, more normal patterns. Now, that's yet to be seen relative to the spring and summer, and probably likely that we'll get that information and people will feel more safe, and then you'll start to see more volume and more transactions. We start thinking about home prices. We're in an interesting time of the year where we get two types of forecasts this year. We get a 12, or this time of year, a 12-month forecast and a next year 2021 forecast. Why is this important? They're comparing two different things at different times. But if we kind of take this as the outliers and look at the middle of this, we're looking at appreciation. I'm going to call it 3 to 4% in homes, not as much as what we've seen this year, and 7% from the experts that are forecasting. Why is that? I think there's an exception by these experts that more inventory is going to come in the market from maybe those affected by the pandemic through the end of forbearance. Maybe those, have not put their homes on their market. Maybe those that get their certainty around employment, and we're seeing more transactions that start to follow that. The question of whether we'll see any disruption of price through foreclosure. Lawrence Yun kind of came out and said any foreclosure increase will likely be absorbed by the market. It will not lead to any price declines. I'm talking about those and forbearance questions surrounding that. So a lot of things are happening. If you're interested, I can go into a lot more depth in another video. But if you haven't done so already, I want you to go down and download the Winter 2021 Buyer and Seller Guides. They're available now, and they've been updated to the market, so you're going to want to grab those if you're thinking about buying. And if you're thinking about selling too, there's a great one for that as well. I want to use two other points of reference as we close out here for today. Lawrence Yun just said this. This winter may be one of the best winters for sales activity. On a winter-to-winter comparison, this could be one of the best breakout years just based on the fact that pending contracts are at such a higher level. As we look at this winter, certainly there's a lot of news coming at us, rising coronavirus cases and other things happening in the world. But it's setting up to be one of our best winters for sales activity. And I think as we think about that, who you've been talking to that's maybe put off buying a home, come talk to me. If you've been putting off selling a home in the past year, come talk to me. There's no reason to keep putting anything off when we have numbers like this coming in, and I'm happy to do another video for you in the future. So as we wrap up today, I'd like to remind you of the value of virtual events, especially for buying and selling your house. Eventbrite came out and said virtual events have exploded this year in popularity due to the pandemic, but they're proving to be a high-value opportunity regardless. Not only can they be just as engaging and as exciting as in-person events, they'll allow you to bring together a wider audience. So if you and your friends want to get together and have a Zoom meeting or meet outside somewhere and discuss things you didn't know about buying, selling, or renting, if there's any questions you have before I do a deep dive into my next video, go ahead and let me know. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. It helps a whole lot to actually like it on YouTube, as well as follow me on all majors of social media at Sold by Mandy C. Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next time.